Can UTSA win the AAC in its first season there? Jeff Traylor has this program riding really high after two consecutive Conference USA championships, and now they take a stab at trying to win a better conference. With some departures in that conference, UTSA fills one of those voids, and this is a team that expects to win the conference despite playing tougher competition. We'll take a look at the schedule that they have to play, how that bodes well for them or not, if they're able to succeed or if they're going to struggle with that schedule. We'll also take a look at the players that you need to pay attention to when it comes to the Roadrunners. The schedule to me doesn't really provide a ton of tough challenges outside of obviously Tennessee. We'll talk about them in just a second. A trip to Houston, a little bit more challenging, but this is a Houston team that isn't necessarily thriving when it came towards the end of the year. Now they are off to the Big 12, so maybe there's talent that we haven't really seen yet that is going to make them a little bit better. That is going to be a tough challenge. Now, they were almost able to beat Houston last year at home, but now they have to go on the road. That's going to be a tougher game. Texas State and Army at home shouldn't be too much of a challenge, although Army's offense provides a unique experience with that triple option attack. So that's going to be an interesting game for a group that has a defense that must improve. More on that later. At Tennessee, we talked about that's going to be a loss. UTSA just doesn't have the firepower that Tennessee does. So that's going to be a loss for them. At Temple could be a tough game. Temple is a team that is getting a little bit better under Stan Drayton, and you're looking at a potential loss there. But this is UTSA team that has been battle tested. There is not much that's going to rattle them. So I wouldn't just chalk that up as a loss, but it's something to keep an eye on. UAB, a team that UTSA is very familiar with, as well as FAU, two teams that could be better in 2023. FAU is under Tom Herman. He has some experience in the AAC for those who remember his time at Houston, and he has a team that is in a great recruiting area. This could be a team that could compete for an AAC championship very consistently under Herman. ECU is taking a step back with the amount of talent that they lose. Still a tough team to beat with Mike Houston running the show. At North Texas, a revenge game for North Texas after the Conference USA championship potentially. And then you get Rice and USF, two teams that should be wins if you're UTSA. Rice probably going to be a win. USF probably the more uncertain game just because we don't know what the Bulls are going to be. Finishing the year at Tulane, we could get another year where we see two teams compete really quickly for a regular season game and then for the AAC championship. Now they do avoid SMU and Memphis, which I think is probably really big for this team. I think that it's huge for a team looking to compete for a conference championship, but maybe they have to face them in the conference championship. We don't really know what this conference is going to look like. We don't really know what teams are going to be at the top. We don't know what kind of competitions there are going to be with these new teams and the old teams that are still remaining. Going to be interesting. I think the schedule is maybe not the easiest, but it does provide plenty of opportunities for UTSA to rack up wins and get to that AAC championship game. So I think that there's a good chance as any team here to get to that top of the conference. And I think that UTSA, with the talent that we're going to talk about here in just a second, is going to be in business when it comes to competing for a conference title. Everything starts with Frank Harris. You can't talk about UTSA without talking about Frank Harris, an absolute monster when it comes to production. You look at his time at UTSA, he has only gotten better over the years, and he has an offense that is going to give him plenty of options to become one of the better players in college football. He probably will get some Heisman love early on. Whether or not that remains or stays throughout the season is remains to be seen. Probably not going to with the fact that they play in the AAC, but still an exciting player, someone who's really fun to watch, and he's a lefty too, so we don't see that very often. You look at who he gets to throw to, his trio of wide receivers returns, Jakari Franklin, Joshua Cephas, and DeCorian Clark are all back. Oster Cardenas at tight end, another great option. The passing attack will be just fine. And when you look at Kavorian Barnes at running back, the rushing attack should also be just fine. There aren't too many concerns on this offense. Offensive line should be fine as well. This is going to be an offense that's going to put up a lot of points. This is an offense that's going to move the ball through the air, and Frank Harris and the rushing attack will also provide some exciting plays as well. Not too much to be concerned about when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. Now, what does it mean when they face stiffer competition? We don't really know quite yet, but I think that if you're going to bet against the Roadrunners, that's probably not a good idea. This is a team, especially on offense, that is going to be really good, really explosive. It's just a matter of what can the defense do to help out. Now, when that being said, this is a defense that has plenty of experience and plenty of talent. Trey Moore really stepped up for the Roadrunners last year, 18 tackles for loss, 8 sacks. Rashad Wisdom only played 6 games last year. He is back. He is a veteran with a ton of experience and a ton of talent. If you look at what he's done in terms of production, he is one of the better safeties in college football, and people will be reminded of that. The front seven is going to be really talented. It's just a matter of can they put it all together. This is a group that I wouldn't say struggled, but this wasn't a group that was as good as they could have been. And I think that's something that has to change with UTSA. They're going to face a ton of explosive offenses in the AAC. They're going to face a lot of talented players. And if their defense is not up for the task, it's going to be a long season for them. It doesn't matter how many points the offense scores. Now, this offense can score points in a hurry, but it would be more helpful if the defense can do their part. If they can step up and provide big time play when they need it, then you're looking at a team that's going to compete for a conference championship. You're going to look at a team that can handle this new level of competition. And Jeff Traylor has done a great job of building this program into something that many, I don't think, really expected. I don't know if anybody anticipated getting this program to this far. And now they're entering the AAC where once again it feels like they're an underdog. It feels, even though some of people are going to pick them to win the conference, there are some people that are going to pick them to compete for a conference title. They are still an underdog because they're coming from one of the weakest conferences in college football. And now they have to prove that they can handle playing against, again, tougher competition. It's a team that has plenty of talent itself. It's a team that has good depth, especially offensively. There aren't too many concerns in terms of what can they provide in terms of their play, what can they do to navigate a tougher AAC, and what are they going to be able to do to get themselves to the top of the conference to continue proving that Jeff Traylor can continue raising this program to new levels, to meet new bars. And if a conference championship is in play, I think that's huge for a program that has a ton of success and is looking just only to add to it.